in Minneapolis, I was talking to my salesman about my Mini Cooper, and he suggested that I go to Thermal. And like, Thermal? Where is that? Oh, Southern California. Well, I told my salesman, it just so happens that I am going to Palm Springs in California for a winter vacation. Is Thermal nearby? And of course he said, yes, Thermal's very close. So I said, okay, well, I'll look it up. So I got home and looked up Thermal on the internet, and sure enough, it's a track and it has Mini Coopers. And I signed up for the stunt driving course at Thermal. And the excitement just built and built to think that I would actually be driving a Mini Cooper at Thermal and doing stunts was just amazing. So when I arrived at Palm Springs, Byron was there, and he drove me over to Thermal, and we drove up to the gate only, and it looked pretty impressive. We couldn't go inside because we didn't have permission. But it's a gated area where there's a track inside, and the BMW Performance Center is there. So the excitement built, and I became more and more excited and signed up, of course, and couldn't wait to do 8 hours of stunts. So that's how it all got started, and can't wait to go.
The main thing you want to do, like I said, is it's a quick turn, but it's not a violent turn. You follow what I'm saying? We're turning it like we normally would turn, but the key is to get the back end to slide around. Ideally, if you want to get an A in this part of the course, you're going to park it right there with the wheels straight, just like you intended it, right? That's the
It's going. Watch his hand. Oh, nice.
Yep, it's good. About 20. All right, come on down, Gordon. Pretty good, Gordon. Pretty good. That's pretty good.
Even at the slower speeds, take off aggressively, right? Full hard acceleration. Get up to that target speed as fast as you can.
40 miles an hour. 40 miles.
You've done a slalom in the braking.
Yes, I have.
And what do you think of this course compared to what you've done at Brainerd?
I'm learning more, I think, faster because it's extreme type slalom and braking. This is the first time I've been forced to go 50 miles an hour and then slam on the brakes. And I'm learning what it feels like and practicing that.
Dave and I are going to ride with you, and we're going to pull the brake up to begin with. So all you're doing is concentrating on your eyes and the sensation of the oversteer and correcting. You're going to pull on up to these green cones so that these green cones are directly lined up, not with the car, but with you. Does that make sense? Once again, we all know where straight is. You want to pull up here straight. You're going to put the car in reverse and you're going to floor it. All right? And you're going to watch your reference point. Once again, as we say, vision, vision, vision. Your reference point isn't looking in the side mirror because that's too narrow of a view. We're looking out here. As long as these 3 cones remain in front of me, right, I know I'm going back straight. We're going to accelerate until you see those 2 cones go by you. As soon as they go by you, you're going to have your hand at the top of the wheel and you're going to give it a big crank. And we're going to do it both directions because I want to make sure that you guys are amphibious. Is that the right word? What's the word?
Yeah.
I am a dick, but I like that's amphibious. The right word. All right.
Right there, straighten the wheel, and reverse, hand at the top. It's important that your hand's directly on the top so you can go back straight. You follow me?
Oh.
Bring reverse, looking straight ahead, forward, Look it. Go. Remember, Gordon, if your hand is straight on top of the steering wheel and you don't move your hand going backwards in reverse, you're going to be going backwards straight. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's all you got to worry about. You're not looking in the mirror, you're not doing anything, you're flooring it and looking to make sure your hand is on top of the steering wheel. If you haven't moved your hand, you're going back straight. All right? There you go. Floor. Floor. Go big, Gordon. Go. Flick. Yeah, you weren't going fast enough. That's why you didn't rotate all the way around.
Put it in park for a second.
Okay.
Hop out.
Whoops. Lost.
Let me double check.
There it is.
I think you got to come hard on the brake. Jump in the passenger side over there. Jump in over here.
I think DSC was inactive.
It's inactive now. All right, hold on.
Wow! Oh my gosh! And you did that with the brake.
Right. So it works.
It does.
So it's not the car. That's what I was checking.
Okay.
All right, you hop over here. Don't turn it on or off. Everything's set. It'll work if you do it.
It does work.
But this is what you're doing. You're doing this.
I'm doing it with my thumb.
No, you watch
I'm
my arm.
going
You're going.
I'm going too
You're
slowly.
pulling it up. I don't want you to pull it up. Jerk it up.
Jerk it
I want
real
you to
hard.
and go like this. Go.
Yeah.
See how I move my body? Use my
Yeah.
weight. I lock my arm and I go.
Yeah. So I have to put a lot more muscle into
But
it.
it's got to be a jerk to lock it. If it's a pull, it ain't gonna work. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this thing might
No, that's
be in my
good.
way,
You're good. But just go like this. Don't do all arm. Use body weight like that. That
Okay.
initial boom like that.
Yep.
All right. Try it.
Yep.
All right, come on down, Gordon. Good job. All right, Gordon, here. Gordon.
This deal wasn't quite as hard as it seemed, does it, at first?
It's not as hard as it seems, but you just have to get the timing. And after doing the reverse 180s, timing it to do the forward one, it's quite, as you can see, what just happened. Timing is everything coming into that box.
Yeah.
It has to be handbrake first. Real hard. So I had to use my whole body to shove my shoulder up and my arm up.
And going fast enough to
And
begin
going
with.
25 miles an hour.
Yep.
At least. It didn't work at 18 or 19 miles an hour.
Okay, forward, we're all set to go. Take off forward when ready. Okay, let's go. All right, not too bad. Let's go. Hold the button down. final score is 39.37. But out of the box, out of the Ford 180, that's an automatic 5-second penalty. And you hit a cone here, so that's another 2-second penalty. So 7 seconds, so let's give you a 46.31. 46.31.
Well, I don't believe what I just did. I just went to Thermal, to the racetrack, to the BMW Performance Center, and drove down really early in the morning with Byron. And we checked in, and I went into the classroom for the Mini USA stunt driving course. And it was really just incredible. Sitting there listening to the instructors talk about what I was about to do, I couldn't believe it. I am going to do what? I'm going to use the emergency brake and slide into square boxes and line the car perfectly as if I'm doing parallel parking, but I'm coming in at like 23 miles per hour and doing a slide to a stop. And then they said, oh, and you're going to also do a Rockford spin or a Rockford turn. And like, oh, I was thinking of the Rockford files. Well, we did them. We went out there and we were told to drive real fast and then spin the car around and head the opposite direction. And it had to be perfect. You can't be going off at the wrong angle. So we would drive real fast, about 35 miles an hour into a box, and we had to spin the car around inside the box and face out. And there was no cheating. There's no like part way into the box. Because if you get in part way into the box and you don't have it spun, you can't get out of the box without tipping over one of the cones or pushing the cone over or back and forth and back and forth. So that was extremely exciting, and I couldn't believe I was going to do it sitting in the classroom, but then we went out on the course, and I did it. And then the instructor said, oh, well, I'm going to give you an A, A minus, B, B, C, D, or F. You didn't do it. And I started thinking, oh, I better do this. Well, I was thrilled. I was able to do it 3 times in a row perfectly, and so that was quite a thrill. And it was always nice for the instructor to say, good, if you did something well. Other things that we did were, besides sliding into a box at a 90 degree, we had to do the 180 going forward. And then we had to do the most difficult thing that I'd ever done or thought about, I didn't know this was possible, to do a 180 backwards. And so you start at the green cones, go backwards to about 40 miles an hour, and when you see 2 cones going past you on both sides, you very quickly put the car in neutral and spin the car real hard, yank that wheel around so that you do a 180 spin, and then of course shove the car in forward geared and continue on into the slalom course, or come around and try a second and a third time. After a full day and 8 hours of that, it was after about 7 hours, there was a timed stunt event in which you had to do all of the stunts together. And so here I am, like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and all of a sudden I have to do the Rockford stunt. I've got to do the reverse 180 stunt, and I have to do 2 in the box stunts by bringing the car to a complete stop, and also do a slalom course. And that finished up the day with some success. We got to do it 3 times, and we were timed, and we were given good positive feedback from the instructors as to other needs, like things to improve on the spins or the stops, or so that was quite amazing. It was a great day, and it was a great thrill. I'm so glad. I'd actually like to do it again and do other courses too.
We had a great lunch, huh?
Very elegant lunch. Beautiful
cheese, steak, cooked just perfectly. Fruit, vegetables, salad, whipped cream on top of brownie.
Not what you'd expect at a racetrack lunch.
No, like, look at this. Wow. Awesome.